We have former Foreign Secretary Kawal Sibal with us. Let us talk to him and know from him what is the current scenario. So, US is saying the war is on the verge of ending, but it is not ending any soon.
Trump is saying that
Yeah.
because Trump is a bit delusional. He entered into this war thinking that it will be a quick thing like in Venezuela. He just killed the head of state. In that case, they abducted Maduro and the regime will collapse. And since they'll see the might of the U.S. Army, the aircraft carriers and everything else surrounding Iran, that Iran would collapse. I think there's very serious misjudgment. Uh, they haven't understood the psychology, the mentality, and the ideological basis of Iran as a country. It's not a walkover like in other cases. There's a strong sense of nationalism, even if there's dissent in Iran, strong sense of nationalism, commitment to the country, and then their system has been built over the years in such a way that there are very strong forces like the RIGC, Basis, and others who will protect the regime, and now when you decapitate the head of a state like that, even those who may actually be dissenters would rally behind the country because it is such an atrocious act. You kill a religious leader who's the supreme leader and this and that. So I think United States will also be behind the scenes quite desperate to find a way out. And Iran, for the moment, may not be that willing to enter into negotiations because twice they have entered into negotiations and twice during the course of negotiations they have been hit. So they will, within the system, they will ask themselves, what's the value of the negotiations? And what do we negotiate with the United States now? We are not, they will say, I assume we are not going to give up our nuclear program, which is peaceful according to them. We're not going to give up our missile program because that's our only deterrent. And our regional role, whatever it is, they will not walk away from that because there are Shia populations in this part of the world who look up to Iran, so they won't give up that. No country will say that, look, I am going to reduce my regional role and become a small power. You can force the country to become a small power by destroying it, but no country through negotiation will say, oh, I agree to be a smaller power. So I think the Americans have bitten more than they can chew. Of course, they have the capacity to destroy Iran, this infrastructure. But I think support within the country and internationally would evaporate even more if they did that. Even the killing of the school children has had terrible repercussions internationally. So U.S. doesn't have that choice of continuing to destroy Iran. So what is the concessions that U.S. is willing to make to Iran? They can't say, okay, we earlier had said that you can't have any nuclear program, but now you can. They can't say that. Earlier they said you can't have any missile program, and now they say, yes, you can have a missile program. U.S. can't say that. So I think there is a big problem there because neither side can easily make the concessions that the other side wants. So who can play a role? What can be the form of mediation? What is the bottom line in terms of concessions Iran can make, United States can make? I see a lot of difficulty ahead. And we are going to be the big sufferers if this continues because our interest in this region of the kind that we have cannot be compensated for by either United States or Israel.
Since it is not what US had planned, it is not happening. And this had happened earlier also in World War II when they attacked Japan with a nuclear bomb.
No, Japan surrendered. I mean, they occupied Japan, and they drafted Japan's constitution, which is a problem today because Japan even can't have defense forces. Although they have self-defense forces, but they can't have a proper army and air force and navy and this and that, although they have it, but still there are very serious constitutional restrictions. But that is when a country surrenders unconditionally. This is what Trump has said, that Iran should surrender unconditionally, which means like Germany and Japan. And how many U.S. bases are there in Germany? So you think that the United States can have bases in Iran? So that is not a solution.
And so, lastly, the Strait of Hormuz is the cause of concern for India along with all of the world. What are we, do you think we are heading in right direction to navigate this issue?
I mean, it's not in our hands. Iran controls the strait, and they can make some concessions for friendly countries like China or India, but the tankers are not going into this area because they're not getting insurance. Nobody wants to take a risk. So I don't think we can on our own, even if Iran wants to be friendly and say, look, we can allow some of our ships to go. But those ships are, yeah, one or two, but that's not enough. That's not enough. After all, we have about 40-45% of our energy that comes through the Strait of Hormuz. Iraq is our biggest supplier of oil. You have to have many, many, many ships going through the Strait of Hormuz to supply oil to us, not one or two ships. So it's a problem. And
Now, again, we are looking towards Russia.
yes, not we are looking, the Americans
The
have.
US is saying that
Americans
we
have
can
gone
stand.
back to their earlier position that India needs to buy Russian oil to keep the prices stable. That's Biden's logic. And Trump is
How do you see
castigating Biden all the time. He can't make one speech without attacking Biden, and he's gone back to the Biden's logic. This just goes to show that there is no consistency, no principle that guides Trump's foreign policy, unfortunately.